Hi, so first of all, what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. What is that? What can I tell you more about Cascading Style Sheets? So basically, CSS equals styles, and styles are basically colors and ways of manipulating text and position of elements. How to use CSS? CSS can be used through inline styles or inline CSS. It can be used in internal CSS. It can be used in external CSS. So basically, these are the three ways to use CSS. They're all different and can be used. Hi, let's look at the code on code and syntax on how to write an inline style. So first of all, I will write the HTML element. It can be any HTML element. I'm using h1. I'm going to write title with this. Now I'm going to add the inline CSS style. So to do that, we just have to type in style equals and the property. I'm going to put the color to red. Now save it. Let's take a look at it. Go live. Our text is red now. Let me give you one more example. Let's add a paragraph tag and write in lorem ipsum dolor. That's just a sample text. To write in style, type style equals, and we type in our style. It can be any style. I'm gonna put a border 2 pixels, solid, and green. Made a mistake. Let's fix that. Alright, now that we fixed that, let's add another style. You can add any amount of style as long as there's a semicolon at the end. So let's add a color. Color is blue. Save it. Let's view it. Alright, we got a border and the color is blue of that text. Alright, let's look at the syntax for writing an internal CSS. This is just an example. So first, create your HTML doc type, your HTML document. After that, go to your body. Let's add in some HTML elements. Let's add a h1 tag, our title. Let's add a paragraph tag. Let's call it lorem ipsum dolor. Alright, last time I showed you the style for inline. Let's do the internal now. Head up to the in between the head tags. In between that, just put in your style. So type in style like this, like a tag. In between, you have to target our h1 like this, curly brackets. In between the curly brackets, write in your CSS styles, such as font size 200 pixels and a color of red. Save it. Save it, and then let's look at it. Here's our title. Let's also style the paragraph. Let's change the font size to be 16 pixels. Save it and change the color to be green. Save it. Let's look at it now. Do a live preview. Something's wrong. Let's check it again. External CSS. An external style sheet is used to define style for many HTML pages. To use an external style sheet, add a link to it in the head section of each HTML page. The external style sheet can be written in any text editor. The file must not contain any HTML code and must be saved with the CSS extension. Here's how the styles.css file looks like. Okay, let's look at the syntax and code example for external style sheets. Let's first get rid of our HTML and our internal style. Okay, now let's write down our HTML elements that you want to style. Let's add a h1. Let's call it heading 1. Underneath, let's add a paragraph tag. Call it Rome ipsum dollar. Save it. Next, let's add a link rel equals styles sheet and type in href equals. Let's discuss what we just typed. Link rel basically tells us that we want a link to an external style sheet. The relation is a style sheet, and the href, the linking, is the location of that style sheet. We haven't created an external style sheet yet, so we cannot give a location for that. One more thing we need to put is type. Type equals text /CSS. Save it. Now let's go to File, New File. Let's create a style sheet. Save this as a main.css or any other style sheet you like. Save it into your HTML file folder. Save it into the folder, Let's call it styles, or let's call it styles. Styles is good. Styles. Open it. Save it. Now you have created a main style CSS. What elements do we want to target in the external style sheet? We want to target h1 and p. So you go open the main.css, type in h1, enter, curly brackets. Next, paragraph tag, enter, curly brackets. Type in your font color red. Font size, let's put it 200 pixels. For the paragraph tag, let's change the color to green and the font size to 160 pixels. Save it. Now let's view it. Oh, wait. One more thing. I have not given the file location path for the main.css file. So let's do it. Type in a dot, go to your styles, main CSS. Save it. Now view it. We got the heading, we got the lorem $, already. Now you may be asking, wait, hold on, sorry, I'll leave that at the end. You may be asking, this is just font color and size change. I want to design my sites and styles to be different, like more like other people's sites and you see every day. Well, to do that, you need to learn more properties and values of CSS, such as CSS colors, fonts, and sizes. Here we will demonstrate some commonly used CSS properties. You will learn about them more later. The CSS color property defines the text color to be used. The CSS font-family property defines the font to be used. Got that? Okay. Let's continue. The CSS font-size property defines the text to be used. Got that? Okay, let's continue. Syntax for changing color, font family, and font size. Let's just use internal styles. It's because it's faster. Let's type in our style tag. In between, we are going to change the H1. We're going to change the color to, let's change it to RGB value. So type in RGB A. You get red, green, blue, and alpha. Let's type in a red value. Let's type in 144, 109, and 333. Alpha is our transparency. We'll put it 0.6. 1 is solid. 0 is transparent. Save it. Save it, and let's view it. Here it is. Heading 1 purple with a little bit transparent. Let's change other things about this H1 tag, such as font. So type in font-family, semicolon. And we're going to put in Arial. There needs to be a semicolon here. Colon. We get a list of fonts. Let's type in Impact. Save it. Our heading has changed font. Alright, let's go back. Change the color, change the font family. Let's change the font size. Font-size colon. Let's add percentage. Let's put in 60%. It is reduced. Now let's change this to be 25 pixels. Save it. It's 25 pixels now. You can also use the M value. Let's put in 1 M. And this defaults to the regular size, paragraph size text. What if we put 1.9 M? So it'll be the 1.9 times the size of the W character that was previously set. Right, let's look at the CSS padding property. The CSS padding property defines a padding, a space between the text and the border. Use the CSS border and padding properties syntax and code example. Here it is. So first, now that we looked at the color, the font color, font family, and font size properties, let's look at one more, the border property. Border property defines a border around an HTML element. You can define a border for nearly all HTML elements. That includes images, paragraphs, headings, and other stuff also. I'll show you how to do it. So, first you type in border, colon, the width of the border. I'm going to put 2 pixels. Now you have to type in whether it's solid, dashed, aligned, outlined, or something like that. I'm going to put solid. And I'm going to put the font, the color of the border next. Let's put in orange. I know the orange is a hashtag EEE. Hashtag EEE. Oh, that is a white. Oops. Let's put in orange then. Like that. Semicolon border now. Around our heading. An orange border to be exact. With the width of 2 pixels. Let's look at the other properties now. Right. Let's look at the CSS padding property. The CSS padding property defines a padding, a space between the text and the border. Use the CSS border and padding properties syntax and code example. Here it is. So first I go to my HTML. Let's type in a paragraph tag and type in some content. Lorem ipsum, like that. I'll type in some random content. Close it off. Save it. Let's create a style for that. P, like that, curly brace. Next. What do we do? Yeah, the padding property. So add in padding, colon, 20 pixels. Now there's a 20 pixel padding around the paragraph. You can see the padding here and here. Let's make it more prominent. As our border. 2 pixels, solid, and green. Save it. Now we see the padding here. Now let's look at the CSS Margin Property. Basically, the CSS Margin Property defines a margin space outside the border. Let's look at the syntax for that. in this code example, we have a p tag. Let's add a margin. So we type in margin colon. Let's add a 50 pixel margin. It's a big margin. Let's see how it looks like. We see a 50 pixel here, 50 pixel, 50 pixel, 50 pixel. Suppose we wanted a margin to be on a certain side to be more or less than any other side. Type in margin left dash left. Now this will change the margin on the left to be more or less, to be the specified number of pixels. Let's add a 300 pixel margin left on the left. Save it. Now we got a 300 pixel margin on the left. Let's put it on the right also. Margin right. 300 pixels. Semicolon. Save. Now it's our 300 pixels here, 300 pixels here. And we have our border, our p tag, and more. Adding dash and dash any side that you want to target will work on padding, margin, border, and other styles too. So let's see how that looks like. I would type in padding, and we get left, top, right, bottom. We also get that for border, bottom, top, left, right. Got it? Okay, good. Let's continue. So basically, that's the CSS course. Simple, simple, simple. If you need help or stuck, comment down below or message me. If you need help, if you need any help and anything else, just comment and say, is this useful? And what do you need help with? Thank you for watching. Stay subscribed to get the latest web development, software development, and app development videos. Thank you. Bye.